Good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the e-NABLE Town Hall meeting for September 18th, 2015. This is the weekly meeting where team leads and community members are able to update the community on what's happening. This week, we're going to be mostly hearing from community members. I'm Justine Diamond, your host for this week's meeting. Please remember that you can ask questions through the Q&A feature. You'll find the Q&A feature at the upper right of your screen. Just click on the grid of 9 boxes. If you're watching on certain devices, such as an iPad, you may find you can't access the Q&A. Questions can be posted to the event page in the comment section. We'll monitor both as we go along and answer the questions as best we can. If there's something you'd like to share with the community or at an upcoming town hall, or if there's someone you think should speak, please let me know. You can email me at events.enable@gmail.com. So on to the calendar. This is a big weekend with a lot of events on the calendar. Today is Bots in the Parkland in Missouri. Bruce Davies is teaching a CAD workshop there to FIRST Robotics competition team members. Many FIRST Robotics teams have run e-NABLE projects during their off-season, and it's not uncommon for a FIRST team to help out at the e-NABLE table at a maker fair. As a matter of fact, this weekend is also the What If Festival in Colorado. Out there, an organization called Cool Science are setting up a table and exhibit to show people, kids in particular, that their ideas can make a difference. As part of their exhibit, they'll be featuring a Raptor Reloaded hand that was printed and donated by Titan Robotics. Folks will be able to play with it to see how it works, and there will be people there to explain some of the technology. They're hoping to be situated by several other 3D printing exhibitions and provide some information on donating or contributing to e-NABLE. On Sunday, John Diamond and I will be at the Hollow Hills Library on Long Island with Ellen Judah doing a presentation. Greg Dennison and Luke are at the Louisville Maker Fair. Joe Fairley, who's with us today and will be speaking in just a little bit, has the Capital District Print-a-thon this weekend. This weekend is also the Silver Spring Maker Fair, and Eric Bubar is running that for us. Next week is just as busy. Next weekend is the World Maker Fair at the New York Hall of Science. John Wong has a presentation out at Stanford as part of Medicine X, and John Schull will be speaking in Maryland at several different events. Check out the calendar for more information and to see all the places e-NABLE will be, and stop by if you're in the area. You'll find the calendar on the Enabling the Future website. Just click the big events button. I think it's red. So first we're going to go to Maria. Maria, are you ready?
So I hope I'm not cutting it out too much. This is Maria Fiscella. I wanted to let people know that at the beginning of October, the first weekend of October, in concurrence with the feast, we'll be launching a few design challenges which will allow everybody to participate in creating a design using whatever media they'd like to show us the perfect hand for their favorite activity, or to create a hand that has gadgets within it. I'm thinking in particular for the Scouts who are so enamored of the Swiss Army knives and their efficiency, but to imagine the Go-Go Gadget hand, and a couple of others. But I wanted you all to be aware of the challenges being available not only to people who are coming to the feast, but to our online community, and in particular also to the formal and informal educators who are looking for a way to engage in a STEM project with us. It would be some. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Melina next. Melina, are you ready?
I'm ready. So first let me say this weekend a wonderful thing happened. I was lucky enough to have a family that lives very close to me, about 2 hours away. They came for a visit on Tuesday, and their son was able to go through our test hands that have been sent in and find one that would work for him. So he went home a very happy little child. So all of you making test hands, just know there's a purpose for them beyond quality and everything. They do actually wind up as often as we can with children that need them. So you can encourage yourselves with that and know that even though you may not have that shiny moment where seeing the child put it on, that does happen. And I want to pick up where Maria left off about the feast. As Justine said, we have the World Maker Faire next weekend, and many of us will be there to help out. If you have test hands or hand kits and you're local and you would like to come drop them off, we welcome you to do so. We'd love to meet you too. And then also the next weekend with the feast, you're welcome to do the same thing there. Just bring them in and drop them off, and that'll save you some postage and shipping on having to send them to us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rich Lehrer, who's our education coordinator, is unable to join us today. He's actually in the classroom substituting for another teacher in his school. He's asked me to mention that the educators, both formal and informal, are encouraged to continue completing the E3 STEAM registration form, which is on the website. And speaking of the education, we have Joe Fairley with us today. Joe is one of our E3 educators, and if you watched, he presented at our launch a few weeks ago. Since then, and with the start of the school year, he's had a lot of requests for information about setting up chapters. He's probably in the car on the way to the Albany event, but he's here with us today. So you ready, Joe?
I am ready, thank you. Yeah, I am in the car right now, going to the Capital District Printathlon. It's the first time this event is running. It was put together by a senior college student out of the College of Nanoscale Polytech in Albany, New York. So we're gonna give our little spin on the, introducing e-NABLE. It's more of a 3D printing focused, event for the whole weekend. We're going to throw in, our past experiences with the chapter that I started at Siena, as well as the chapter that I'm starting right now at Merrimack College. So far, it's going great. Like Justine said, we have a lot of interest in starting chapters. Right now, I've got about maybe 10 or 12 different universities that I'm working with periodically to help them start chapters, and also the formulation of making these chapters, a formal entity with e-NABLE is still ongoing. There is a couple little things we need to work out, some paperwork and just other little entities that will go into making these chapters formal. The whole reason behind this is just to give ourselves a little bit more recognition, and kind of what I've pictured for it is possibly something where if someone wants to be matched, they can even just go on the website, look up on a map similar to our map of volunteers, find a chapter that's closest to them, and either reach out through the matching process, or if that chapter's integrated within the matching process, reach out directly to them. So the whole point of this is to make that facilitation a little bit easier with all of that. So any questions as far as the chapters go, shoot me an email if you'd like. Fairley, Fairley J at Merrimack, MERRIMACK.edu, and we'll go from there. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We've been talking a lot about maker fairs, and last week you may remember that Keith Johnson was with us to talk about the Orlando Maker Faire, and that fair has now happened, and he's come back to report and tell us how that went. Okay, Keith? You got to unmute, Keith.
Got it. Am I there now? Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Great. Well, hello. I'm back from Maker Faire, and several of the things that we did there did work, and a couple didn't. One of the things that was a good idea was to print up some of these picture frame holders. This one's got a magnet on the back. A couple of them had just some of this tape, so I was able to, as we were there, kind of print up relevant pictures. It's one of Ivan and one that we use a lot, and some others. But you get the idea. But it it helped out because the first day, stepping back from the booth, it was kind of hard to tell that we were anything other than another 3D printer. So I put together a sign. Let's see if I can move this without making you dizzy. I made this sign here to put up above the top, and had printed up some T-shirts that I did. Now that was another thing, was being a maker fair, I thought, well, I'll bring the T-shirt transfer paper and the printer and the iron, and I'll make the stuff while I'm here. Well, we weren't overrun in my side of the building. I was in the art museum, which had far fewer booths, and Laird was in the science center, which was the bulk of it. So we weren't overrun, but there was really no period of 5 to 10 minutes where I could actually, sit and iron transfers on or make a sign. One of the things that was helping was most of the time we had the printer, you probably can't see it, but it's printing those little charms, the hand with the heart as a charm, and then I'd make them and then dump them in this Lego container and people could grab them. So even little trinkets like that people liked. I wouldn't bother ordering, pens with the name on it, etc. All of these events pass out things like that. A lot of them end up in the garbage. But little trinkets like that was good to make and pass out. The other main thing I would say is do not be tempted to trust guest Wi-Fi. It doesn't work. These are all in buildings that are meant for groups, but not necessarily that big of one to all be on Wi-Fi. So, the Orlando Art Museum normally has maybe a couple dozen people in the building. So you can imagine with, attendance in the over 10,000, I don't know if it reached 15, but a lot. So if you have to tether it to your phone, but even that, you're in a building, so it's probably going to be spotty reception even on a cellular signal. So anything that you have, like I had relied on this Wi-Fi for a couple of things. One, I wanted to do live hangouts, but with Laird in the other building, but he never got on Wi-Fi in his building, and ours intentionally kicked you off after 10 minutes. So I couldn't just leave it up waiting to receive calls. And then when I would try to call out, I did actually have, and I'm blanking on his name right now, I apologize, but somebody did see this last week's town hall meeting, and they did call in from England, and it took a little doing, but we did it. But even that, the place was so loud that I had to end up putting the headphones on, which then of course excludes any audience that would be watching, which would be the reason to bring one of these, and I had to have my back to them. So it really, in practice, it sounded like a neat idea. In practice, it just didn't work. But I really appreciate him calling in. The other thing was I had brought some of these little Wi-Fi speakers to hopefully play some of the videos from. Well, they're not that much louder than the speaker on your phone, and you forget all the ambient buzz and shuffling and everything in these things. So that did nothing to have people hear the volume. So if you want to play something that's got a track to it, you're really going to have to bring more like the dedicated plug-in powered computer speakers or something like that. And see if I can bring my TV up here. I had a picture of the booth. I can't do screen share because I'm doing it on a portable device, but hopefully you can see the image of me there. So I had this big camera attachment set up too, and I had planned on having kind of this screen run from the camera, showing people walk up and recording them, and that too, it's too much going on, and anytime you stop using it for a few minutes, it goes to sleep. And it was just one other thing that I really couldn't add to conversations, and I was missing conversations messing around with the video equipment. So printer, good idea. Print something small and quick that you can keep churning out new ones. A sign of any kind, very helpful, high up, well lit, so that people know who you are. You could add some personal items, pictures, whatever, but the bulk of this electronics I would ditch. And if you're going to run something, run it from a computer or a USB card or something, because you know, I had a whole series of YouTube videos of former e-NABLE stories that were set to cycle, and you know, they wouldn't download. It wouldn't even connect. So those are my my big ones, and that's about it.
Thank you very much. It's very useful to me because I will be at the World Maker Fair next weekend, and I will certainly be able to take some of those suggestions that you've got into account.
Cool. If you like, I can send you like these T-shirts. They're size small. They won't fit my kids. I kind of just made them for this show. They're just iron-ons with a product from Staples, so or something else. I mean, the sign maybe can break down, but again, it's kind of booth shape and size specific. So.
Okay, I'll get in touch with you separately. Thank you very much, and hopefully soon I'll be able to talk about how the World Maker Fair goes. So thank you very much.
Cool.
Let's see. John, are you able to join us? Last but certainly not least.
I am able to join you briefly. I have little to report. I've been sort of on vacation. You hear me in the Fort Lauderdale airport. I'm meeting with the Haiti team this weekend and beginning a whirlwind series of visits and engagements. Our paths will cross Justine at Maker Faire, and our paths will cross Melina in Baltimore, and it just goes round and round. So I actually don't think I have much to talk about today.
Okay.
Why don't we do Friday the 2nd?
We've got just one question in the queue, and that is from Justin, who asks if it's possible to add an item to the agenda because he's been working on an internship this summer and would like to share a tool adapter for the Phoenix and the Raptor Reloaded. And I would love to see that. It's a little complicated to add you right now, Justin, so what I'd like to do is set that up that we can have you come next week and do that, if that would be okay. Although we are going to be very, very short today. We don't have any other questions, and we don't have any other people to speak. So we can wait a couple of minutes and see if there are any additional questions. And if not, that will be it for this week. Does anybody on the call have anything else?
Justine, if I could speak for a moment.
Sure.
One other thing I'd like to add in, I've been kind of going back and forth with this idea because it's kind of groundbreaking. We were contacted by a woman out of Louisiana who would like us to try to build her 2-year-old son the first 3D printed prosthetic leg. You know, right now he's a wrist digratic, so he was born, or I'm sorry, wrist, a hip. So he was born without his hip all the way down his right leg. You know, I realized that there may have been some kind of research put into this so far within the e-NABLE organization, so I'd like to reach out to people to see what they have, you know, any input on that. And also just to kind of let everyone know that we're going to be doing this, so if anyone's interested in collaborating with us on this project, we're going to be going through Merrimack College to, you know, get this done. I asked the woman, you know, what she's kind of trying to get out of this because nobody's really done it before, and she just wanted to keep up with the technology of the times, you know, with everything that we have going for us at e-NABLE. She saw everything that was going well with e-NABLE Sienna and wanted to see if this was a possibility. So she said that if it can't help her son, then you know, help someone else in the future, and she's perfectly okay with that. So, yep, we'll wrap it up with that then.
I'd like to comment on that.
Sure.
Danger Will Robinson. Let me just give you several cautions, Joe. we're increasingly conscious of the need to have recipients interact with makers by way of the matching system, in part so that we can flag and field interactions like this. When I say like this, I mean a 2-year-old is too young, we currently think, for our own hands and arms, because bones develop and can be are malleable in ways that are not understood and not well controlled at that young age. Secondly, legs are a much more difficult task than arms, both because they are mechanically weight-bearing and because they have much higher risks, because if you fall on a limb, you can hit your head, whereas if your hand breaks, you just drop something. So for all of those reasons, I think we should work very carefully to put Melina and the matching advisory team in touch with this parent and to reset expectations. This is a real, you've got 3 different flags flying here, and part of the function of the community and of the foundation is to keep people like you and parents like that one out of trouble. I suspect that this is really outside of what, in fact, I believe that this is outside of what we can reasonably give hope for. And I think that you and Mary Mac would get ensnared in all sorts of entanglements that we're really not prepared for yet. So let's talk about it offline, but do recognize that this is a subject of concern and that we're trying to make the rules of engagement clearer to help steer us clear of danger areas like this.
Thanks. I completely understand the the level of that expectation. So I will definitely talk with you more on that.
Okay, we have one additional question from Jim, who says, I'm trying to generate interest in the school system where I work. Are there any pointers to grants that I can apply to that might fund a state up, excuse me, in my K through 12 school system? And Jim, yes, I'll put you in touch with Rich Lehrer, the E3 coordinator, who has done just that for his own school. And there are some resources with the education repository about getting up funding and doing in different places you can look. So I will get someone to get in touch with you for that. And I think that clears our questions. I don't believe we have anything else. Keith, did you have something else?
Well, I was going to say, if you like, I do have a quick 3-minute video of Laird at his booth explaining, doing a quick speech. But if we want to run, I'm going to be posting that to the YouTube channel anyway. But it's up to you guys.
I think based on how it went last time we tried to share a video, that it's probably best to put it to the community than to try and play it through the Hangout, because with the delay, it gets a little strange.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah.
But we will certainly look for that, and I will definitely look for that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just post it in the Google Plus community. It'll be just video of Laird Popkin at Orlando Maker Faire or something like that. So.
Okay, that would be great. Okay, well, thank you all very much. We will see you next week, and until then, happy printing. Bye-bye.